Hey folks, it's time for TWiP Pro Photo Critique number 104. This is TWiP. Hey, welcome back to another TWiP Pro Photo Critique. It's that time again to chat through some of the images that have been submitted into the fantastic TWiP Pro community. This week's topic was toys, and here to run through the submissions and nitpick them with me is my friend and partner in crime, Mr. Troy Miller.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, you came up with this toy thing, man.
I did.
What do you think?
I'm stoked. I love it. Well, I have a favorite. We'll touch on that here in a little bit. I'm not going to say, James Glennie's one of my favorite, but
you're not going to say it, but it is. That's
no,
the truth, right?
I'm not going to say it's his. No. Yeah, there's some great images. I'm really glad that this topic worked out. Yeah.
Yeah, it did. It worked out great. Yeah, I'm really pleased at some of the submissions, and I say some of the submissions because of the 11 submissions, only 8 of them are on topic.
Are on toys.
Only 8 are on topic. So
well, they used their toy to take the photo, maybe. Yeah,
that's true. That's a stretch. See,
that's a stretch.
That's that everybody's a winner mentality you have, Troy Miller.
No, I definitely don't have that. You know that.
I know you don't. You don't. Everybody gets a trophy.
That's right. That's right. I just assume everybody sucks until they prove they're not.
That they're guilty until proven innocent.
That way I'm always impressed. Like, oh, you're such a nice person. That's awesome.
That is cool. All right, yeah. So basically, you go through life with low expectations,
right?
And then you're pleasantly surprised when you're proven wrong. Right?
Yeah, and then just remember, the cake is a lie.
Okay. All right. If you're watching this, which you are because you heard this, if you know what that phrase means, what should we give whoever knows what that phrase means?
Oh, I don't know. We have to exclude James. Do we have to exclude James?
If you know someone that knows in the community that knows what it means already, then yeah, you're excluded. So,
I don't know. We'll have to think of something.
Okay, we'll give you something. If you know what the cake is a lie means, it was only explained to me a couple minutes ago, so now I know. But if you know the phrase "the cake is a lie," put it in the comments for this post and let us know what the cake is a lie means.
We're so geeky. It's terrible.
It's very geeky. It's very your geek is showing, Troy Miller. You need to tuck that in, man.
I can't help it. I can't help it.
All right, so this week is toys. Shall we dive in? What do you think?
Let's do it. I'm ready. Yeah,
right.
I got.
And you got one you're going to critique too, or you're gonna edit. And I think I'm really interested in seeing how you do this because, as you know, I've been diving deep into Capture One. I had some medical stuff done over this past week, so I was bedridden until right about now. So laptop and YouTube were my friends, and I have David Grover's voice in the back of my head. I think I watched every single webinar that he did on Capture One. So I'm excited to see you manipulate Capture One and bend it to your will. So.
Oh yeah, it's fun. Yeah, I thought that was so cool.
Freddy Krueger, yes. Who's old enough to know who Freddy Krueger is in the groove? It should be everybody for the most part, I think.
I think so.
Whatever happened to Friday the 13th? Like they did like 9 sequels and then stopped.
Who knows? He wasn't scary enough. They came out with scarier.
Wait, this wasn't Friday the 13th.
That was
his Nightmare on Elm Street. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's a neat character, and it's neat to see in this category. And I love the way that Alicia, I believe this is Alicia's, the way that she lit this, right? Very, very dramatic, edge light, film noir in the shadows kind of thing.
Yeah.
I dig that. Yeah.
Yeah. See, yeah. But I was struggling to understand what the toy concept was in this. I like it.
Well, it's probably like an action figure, right? Or like a little collectible figure.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, so that is so weird. I'm looking at the shot. I thought it was actually a person in costume.
Like no. I think this is a toy because if you zoom in on it, I think you can see the textures and you can see that it's molded. Yeah.
Okay. Well, she did a fantastic job on this, with the angle and everything. Because if I had to ask, is this real or is it Memorex?
Well, the only reason that I say that is because I downloaded it to play with it. I was going to try to add some color to it, but there just isn't enough saturation in there to add color. But you can see that, it's like an action figure.
Yeah.
Not an action figure. What do you call those? Like, it's a statue. It's a toy. It's a
doll.
It's a doll.
Or a statuette or something. But it's cool. It's cool. Yeah, Freddy Krueger. Those Nightmare on Elm Street movies never really scared me that much. I always thought they were just. I think they were intended to be campy, funny, right? So it never really scared me. I know, like some people are like, I'm afraid to go to sleep now because Freddy comes to you in your dreams. It's like. It was never really that scary.
No, I was afraid of Land of the Lost the original Land of the Lost
with the slee stack in there.
Yeah.
The scariest movie that scared me, I think this was because we were living on Long Island at the time and we were really close to Amityville, like maybe 45 minutes away from Amityville. The Amityville horror scared the bejesus out of me, man, because I was like, those demons are one town away. They could easily make their way over here. So, it was very scary. I just don't like those demonic kind of scary movies, I don't think.
No, those, But there's really nothing I could say to add to this. I think that the way that Alicia lit it is perfect. It's dramatic. It's nice. Maybe a touch of color, like you could play with the different lights, like maybe the light on his shoulder is like red or something like that. But I like the classic film noir, dark, shadowy, maybe a little darker in the foreground with a little sort of like movie spotlight on his face. But it's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's a cool shot. All right, moving on to the next shot. This one is from Freddie Sedano.
Freddie Sedano, I don't even need to ask.
Yeah. Freddie, this is a look inside Freddie's mind, I think.
This is like just one of the corners of what's inside Freddie's mind. These are I don't know these characters super well, so it's hard for me to see the context. I think that
there's Cartman in the foreground with the beanie on. Come on.
I don't watch TV. I don't watch that stuff.
Oh, this is South Park, man. Come on.
Is it all South Park?
I believe this is. Well, I'm not sure. I know at least 3 of those characters are South Park.
Okay. I love the scene. I think that it's even for somebody that doesn't like me, that doesn't know all the characters that are going on in there. I think the scene is really funny. I do wish though that the lighting was managed a little bit better, as if it was like a real world scene. Mm-hmm. So the light on the back wall wouldn't be as bright as the light on the back of Carmen's head, kind of thing, right? Mm-hmm. Like there would be more fall off. Mm-hmm. So I feel like
it's Cartman, not Cartman.
Cartman. What? Okay. See.
Oh. Come on, man, go.
I know he dies in every show, right? Is that?
No, that's Kenny. Come on.
Kenny. See, I don't know.
What's the matter with you?
Let's talk Star Trek or The Fringe or.
The nerds everywhere listening to this are face palming as they.
I know. Well,
Oh man, I love it. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, just some more realistic lighting in here.
Right.
Yeah. Right. And how would he accomplish that? Because you'd have to scale down the light sources to be proportionate to the characters, right?
Well, you could definitely scale it down. The other thing that you could do is just more dodging and burning. You could really have a lot of latitude in there. The one thing that I'm not sure about as I was trying to zoom up on the image is to see. I see some like it's like almost like a composite. Oh, it's definitely a composite.
Freddy. Oh, around Cartman's hand in the foreground?
Freddy.
Yeah.
Dude. Oh no, look at the scientist dude in the background. I don't know who he is. Look
around one of his spiky hair thingies? Yeah.
No, his belt. Yeah, his hair and then his belt. See how the character
Oh, it fades into the green hat a little bit. Yeah. Oh. Freddy Sedano.
Freddy, we caught you.
Yeah. Look, see? You got to be a good retouching burglar, man. You can't leave any traces.
Right.
No fingerprints. No fingerprints.
No fingerprints. Yes.
Yeah.
He's coming over here in like an hour for some acrylic. I'm going to tell him, nah, I can't. You embarrass me.
Yeah, exactly. You're dead to me, man. You're dead to me. All right, cool. Thank you, Freddie Sedano. All right, next shot. Oh, this one is
Joshua.
Joshua sent 2 in. This is one of Joshua's. So if we do pick him as one of the winners, we have to choose between the 2 because Joshua infracted. But in his defense, I've been ambiguous about where to submit the critique images to because there's 2 communities. So he submitted in both. So we'll let you go, Joshua. I understand. I understand my failings there. So
yeah, this is such a cool shot. And I like the title. There are many chewed up cylinders, but out there, but this one is mine.
Exactly.
All mine.
full metal zoo. Yeah.
I like it. My precious.
I know. Look at him. Yeah. I wonder what would happen if you tried to take that away from him or her.
Oh my gosh.
Or her. That's a her. Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful image. I can tell that Joshua spent time tweaking this where, the highlight on the face is a little bit brighter than the hindquarters. It looks like there's been some nice dodging and burning going on in the background. Your eye is drawn to the lioness's face,
Gently,
which I just
very gently too.
Yeah, which is brilliant. It's fantastically done. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
You know the words that come to mind when I look at this shot? Hakuna Matata. Awimo it. Awimo it.
Oh my gosh.
I love it. Thank you, Joshua Sommerfeld. Good job, man. And that fits, right? It's a toy.
Yep. It's a toy.
Her toy. It's her toy.
Yep.
All right. Next shot is also from Joshua Sommerfeld.
Oh my gosh.
This one's creepy. This is that who was that? Was it? God, I'm going to show my age. Charlie McCarthy and his dummy. God, I can't remember. I forget.
From Twilight Zone?
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah, that was exactly what I thought. The talking dummy.
Yes, yeah. Either that or Goonies. Was it Goonies or what's that movie Cameron makes me watch all the time? With the Halloween characters that all come to life and terrorize a village. There's the main villain in there is a dummy that looks like this, and he's alive, and he's
Oh, I have no idea.
Using magic powers to bring every other creature to life and all that.
I have no.
You have no idea what I'm talking about. See?
No.
That's because your kid is an adult.
Yeah. We sit down and watch Madam President together. That's what we watch.
Oh, God. Yeah, there you go.
Joshua, love the image, love the treatment, love the black and white, love the angle. That's so cool. That direction, right? And then I'm a little troubled by his leg hanging out the bottom of the car.
Mm-hmm. You hate amputations in photographs.
Yeah, but I like him leaning out, and I like that whole thing. It looks cool. It's very cool.
His hand was kind of leaning out a little bit because he looks like he's doing sort of a gangster lean hanging out of his Eldorado, cruising down looking for other dolls to hang out with.
Yeah. And I love that nostalgic look of these older toys. So that's very cool.
Yeah. Cool shot. Right.
Yeah, I like the treatment too, even though that thing's probably red and old and grungy. I think the black and white really takes it back to sort of that time period visually.
And he's got the requisite Troy Miller border pandering.
Win.
I can see how everyone just coming up and leaving a photo with a border on it at the altar of Troy Miller.
Oh my God.
See what you've done? You affected all these people.
I know.
Affected / polluted. I don't know which word. All right. Next shot is from James Glennish.
Oh, love this.
All right.
Absolutely love it.
So, this is why you said James knows what it is. So, what was the phrase again?
The cake is a lie.
The cake is a lie.
That's right. Now he did title this, "Are You Still There?" It's a character from a game called Portal. So did I just give the answer away? I think I did.
You just ruined the entire micro contest with one sentence.
Oh my God.
For the record, people, don't ever tell Troy Miller any secrets. never told me secrets. He's just like, oh yeah,
No.
you're gonna love that watch that I got you for Christmas. Oh.
Oh yeah, there we go. All right, sorry. Well, it's specific to the image. I mean, it's a toy. It's another sort of one of those action figures, right? And it's amazing. I had actually forgotten about this for a long time, and then this popped up. My heart was like happy. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the robot. So.
Yeah, I did not know what this was. It looks cool though. At first glance, I thought it was a DJI inspired drone from some weird angle or something because it has that same look, right?
Yeah, no, this so this is little bullets or little barrels on the sides. Those 4 holes are barrels.
Oh, those are weapons. Oh,
those are weapons. Yeah, and then the eye is the red dot. So James, I mean, I love how it was photographed. The little glow for the eye for the red was very, very well done. So it's handled very well.
You think he put the glow in post? The red
I think he
eye?
did. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Close the pod bay doors, Hal. I'm sorry, Hal. I can't do that right now.
Yeah.
I want my Amazon device to talk in that voice. That'd be fantastic.
Oh yeah, then we'd let it talk all the time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
No, I think the image is handled really well. The lighting direction is really well. The whites are a little hot, but that could just be being compressed. And it's true to the character. Even though if you know the character, it's true to the character. The legs in the front are ill balanced to me. I'm not sure why that is. Like it looks like the left leg is either pulled back or we've lost it in the shadow, and then camera left.
I think it's the highlight that's tricking you.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's very possible.
Yeah. Cool shot though.
But well done, James. Yeah. If you
that's from a game called Portal.
Yeah, Portal.
Yeah, so we have to check that out. I wonder if anyone in the community knows about that game. Please chime in and let us know because Troy's been raving about it. Now I feel like I need to go download it or play with it. But it's on Steam, which means a whole nother service I need to contend with. I'm not looking forward to getting involved with yet another subscription service. So.
It's not a subscription. Steam is free. It's a platform, and then you just buy the game. The game's like $5.
Oh. Done. All right. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's killing
my recuperation. Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. You're going to be addicted.
Is it Mac only or is it on iOS as well?
I don't know if it's on iOS.
It should be on iOS because I don't want to play that on the iPad.
I don't know. Well, you can look into it and let us know.
I will. I will certainly do that.
Yeah. But excellent image, James. Yep. Well done.
Thank you so
much. And there's no glass of scotch or whiskey in the background.
No, I know what's going on. You're slipping. This next shot is from Mike Doran.
Mike. So this is where he used his toy to capture.
Yes. Mike he probably rode in one of his toys to this location and then used his toy to create this photo. And then
right.
It. Yes.
Right. It's a really cool image. I really like the silhouette. I like the Milky Way. I like the streak, the star, the shooting star.
Mm-hmm. Which is just a meteorite, by the way, falling to Earth.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, make it sound fun, right?
Because it would be bad if a star crashed into Earth.
Thank you, Captain Kirk.
I'm just saying, science. Just saying.
Well, speaking of science, I'm a little confused looking at the image how you would get the Milky Way and
the sunsets. Yes,
I'm gonna say it's the moon, right? It could be a moon.
A moon casting. Well, it could be if there was like a pollution layer. But it stops at that tree right there. It doesn't go all the the orangish sort of glow of that celestial body doesn't extend all the way to the left side of the frame. Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, if it's all in frame, that's very impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, like when you have a moon, I mean, if it has to be shrouded by the clouds and it has to be behind the trees and you can't have any contamination on the land, and then you're shooting the Milky Way at 20 seconds at 1.4 or 15 seconds, so you don't get the stars streaking too much. That lets in a lot of light. So very impressive image either way.
Mike, let us know. Let us know what the mechanics were of how you did this shot. I'm curious as well. Now that you say that, I'm like, okay, yeah, because I understand. I've never shot the Milky Way, but from folks like you that have, and some other people that I've talked to, I understand the math behind capturing it. But I also know the math behind capturing and shooting into a bright object like the sun or the sun reflecting off the moon. Too.
Right.
So
well, you know what?
Those two equations don't necessarily agree with each other.
Right. And when you get your hands on a full frame camera, the first thing you need to do is go out and do low light photography like this. Oh man, it changes everything. Yep.
Oh, I know. Well, we've had our discussions about full frame versus micro four thirds. The too long didn't read version of that conversation is there's room for both in a workflow, micro four thirds and full frame. So, in fact, full frame is probably not good for some things that micro four thirds is, like video and running gun street photography and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, my only suggestion to this image is that the lower left corner and maybe the lower right behind the trees, maybe turn those down just a little bit so that the center becomes the Milky Way, and we'll call it the moon. Because I feel like those off to the right lower quadrants are drawing our attention away from the Milky Way, and I think the Milky Way is the hero of the shot.
Okay. Yep. Cool.
Yeah, nicely done, Mike. Nicely done.
Mike Doran. Thank you. Good to see you back in the critique again, man. All right. Next shot up is from Stephen Scharf. Look at this baby. You know what this reminded me of? Well, aside from being a fantastic shot, it reminded me of Speed Racer. You remember Speed Racer back in the day?
I do.
Those cars, not the Mach 5, but those cars that he always raced with, and they'd go flying off the road. And the car acrobatic team. Remember those guys?
I do. I was so bummed when that movie came out. They just ruined Speed Racer.
They destroyed it. They ground it up, spit it out, digested it, and buried it. Yeah.
Wasn't the same thing. Yep.
No.
Yep. No. Exactly. I love the image. I'm a little conflicted on the composition. I feel like, I understand that the space in the foreground is nice. I feel like it should just be centered.
Because it's like, hey, this is the car. Boom.
Yeah. Unless you're going to put copy above it, then that makes sense, the vertical space. I just don't think we need extra space in the front. I would just give it some space around it, left and right, and then on the bottom. And then if you want space at the top for commercial use, I would do that. I feel like it's a little bit ill-balanced.
I can see that. I don't on that particular knit, that doesn't bother me too much. I understand that, the composition is because the car is pointing in that direction. Right. Stephen wanted to give the car some place to go. I might have given it a little more space, maybe just a tad more space around, because it feels like that back bumper is a little bit too close to the frame, but just a smidgen. My major nit is the key line. I don't know if maybe I'd want a key line on this, but if I did put one on this, maybe a shot like this, because of the thick white around the decals or decals, depending on where you're from, maybe a thicker white border around, just to sort of, play off of the thickness of those white circles in there if you're gonna do a border.
Sure.
And then the other thing was the reflection on the driver's side window, the side window. It's a little egregious to me. I'd like to see that toned back a little bit.
Yeah, and the other thing is I kind of wish that the lighting was coming from the front of the car rather than the back of the car. I do love the lighting, though. The lighting is beautiful. I'm just sort of like speaking to preference. These type of objects, I would have lit them both ways and then played with it to see which I liked better. The lighting is handled really, really well. The reflection in the window doesn't bother me too much, but it is one of the brighter spots in the image, and I think we should bring that down. This is actually an image that I was going to play with in Capture One.
Yeah, so I want to see that. You want to switch over to it now, or you want to do that after?
No, we can do it now. We can do it real quick. Okay. Yeah, I only have one image to play with, so.
All right, let's switch over to your screen.
We can just pop in there, yeah.
Here it is.
So well, here, just for there's Freddie. Freddie just saying hi. I downloaded Freddie just so we could say hi.
What's up, Freddie?
So first thing was there are some little white spots in the foreground, and in Capture One there's actually a dust spot tool for that. So you just grab that little circle up there, size it down, and you just tap around on anything that's a dust spot or a speck that you need to remove.
I saw those, and that was the one thing I was like, oh, if it weren't for those dust spots, because the dust spots do a couple things for me. It takes me out of, is this real or is it, a model? Obviously it's a model, but those dust spots are just a subliminal dead giveaway that this of the size of it, right? So
right, exactly, yeah. Now the other thing that you could do is you could actually, hang on, I got this little window in my way. You could actually go to a layer and you could create a heal layer, and then grab your brush, and then anything that you wanted to get rid of. I don't really see anything in here. Let's see, maybe you can just paint over whatever you want to make go away, and then you choose where you want it to pull from. And then it blends in. There's nothing in this image for me to really remove, but that's
that's a good question. As I continue my deep dive into Capture One, that clone / healing feature, those kind of features, and this is legacy from my Lightroom Photoshop workflow. But those kind of things, unless it's just like a really tiny, obvious dust spot or something isolated, I tend to round trip into Photoshop, or in this case, into Affinity or something, to do that microsurgery and then come back. Like I would look at Capture One for overall sort of cleanup of the image, get it ready, and then fine tuning and packaging over in Photoshop. Is that a wrong way to think about it?
Well, I don't think that you need to do that as much anymore. I like to do as much in the actual raw file as possible. So let's say you wanted to take out this little, I don't know what that is, right? Let's just say it's a little hair or a scratch or something.
Yeah.
So you hold down on the plus sign, go down to the heal layer. The heal layer is better because it will actually try to blend in what you're painting.
Yeah.
And then grab your paintbrush, and I'll size my paintbrush down. And I'm just going to paint over that. Now, sometimes it picks the location to clone from pretty good. Most of the time it doesn't. So I'm just going to move it over there and pick the area that I want. And then there you go.
Very nice.
Yeah. So I find that it's the same effort to do this in Photoshop as it is for me to do it in Capture One. So I just do it in Capture One, and then I have the benefit of coming in here and I can turn that off and turn it back on, and I don't have to round trip. And I love that. So these little tiny specks that are on the body, those are dust spots. And I would just grab the dust spot tool, and it's intelligent. So what it does is it just tries to get rid of them by looking at the surrounding area. So they work independently of each other.
Okay, so there's no source destination with those.
Right. So it's a lot simpler. So you could just come in and you could just go around. You could just nitpick out all those little things if you wanted to. Little tiny specks. Yep. It does a really good job for the most part. That one down there, you can see it kind of blurred that. So you got to be a little careful. Yep. But especially the foreground and stuff, you really want to spend time with that. The thing that I thought would be really fun to do with this is to make the car blue.
Nice.
Or make the car green.
See, that's crazy. See, doing that and not affecting any other parts of the image, or any other colors in the image, to me is borderline magic. Right. Because I know what it would have took to do that in Photoshop, or some pixel-based post-processing app that isn't doing what Capture One does, which is targeting a range of colors. That's just amazing to me.
Yeah. So consider that we did this little heal layer, right, that fixed a few things. So I'm going to go into the color tool. I'm going to go down here to advanced, and you're going to grab the picker over here on the right. Now you're going to grab a color, and you're going to grab in the same color every time, and you're just going to grab and slide the hue slider one way or the other. Now you notice how it's moving towards the orange side, which is the counterclockwise on the wheel. So I'm going to click in the same spot again, counterclockwise, click in the same spot again, counterclockwise, because it's 30 degrees every time you click and rotate, or you drag your hue slider. It's 30 degrees. So there we go. Now the neat thing is if we go back to our layer, you can see that those adjustments that I made are still there. So I've done color tweaking, I've done some retouching. I could even come in, we could even create a new layer, and we could fix this window if we wanted to, where we could bring in our brush. We could bring, let's say we're going to bring down the brightness a little bit, and maybe like the whites and the highlights just to kind of see. And then I could just go in there and I could just brush that in. And that's on its own layer. There we go. And if you hit M, you can see the mask that would go in there. So that's it. That's how you change color. That's how you do some tweaks. And obviously, once you're picking that color, you can actually go in and refine it even more. You could actually, I don't know if everybody knows that you can do this in Capture One, but if you go to the color tool, and let me reset this guy just to go back to red. If you go to the color tool and you use the color picker and you pick the color, and then you open up the smoothness. So basically what you're doing is you're picking as many colors around the outside of it, right? Then if you go under here under your options and say create mask selection, layer from selection, that's going to be based on that red. So now if I go into my layer palette and I turn on my mask, you can see that I've masked only those tones.
Yeah, and those gradations are fantastic too, because it's not just a binary mask, right?
Right. So I could come in and I could add clarity or take out clarity. I could say just affect like the highlights or the shadows. I could say just affect the saturation in there. You know, I could really push it. Then I could go back and I could do the same thing again. I could grab the color picker. I could pick the rims in there, that color. I could say make that, create a mask from that selection, go back. That's mask 2. I could bring up, you know, just the wheels a little bit, or maybe I want to clip just the highlights in the rims.
You know how hard that would have been back in the day to do that.
Yeah, and then I can turn them on and off, right? So now everything is on a layer and it's raw. So you're using data that you don't even visually see, because the visual spectrum on my monitor, right, is narrower than the data that's in the files.
Yeah. All right, here's a challenge before we move on. We only have like 10 minutes left. What if the client says, this is great, but you know what? We really need that car to be black. Could you do that?
Well, I'm going to guess that what I could do, oh boy, see what you do to me? Like you're testing me right here.
Not to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Sorry, a mouthful of coffee. Not to put you on the spot or anything.
Yeah, well, you know what though? Here's the thing is that you can't use the black and white, but you could desaturate it for sure.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Could you create a layer, desaturate it, and make that car black, and then reincorporate that layer back into the other layer, and keep just bring in the parts that have color, like the wheels, etc.
Yeah, so like what I've done here is I've selected the red. I took that red channel and I desaturated it, and then now it's just a matter of figuring out how to clip that red channel the best to get it as black as possible.
There you go. Yeah. Now that's a car I'd drive right there.
And we still have some little red fringes left in there, which we could probably go in and we could, we could tweak that. But for the most part, you can kind of see how it works. So we've kept the gold for the wheels and the yellow from the little Ferrari symbol there.
What a magical tool. I love that.
Oh, it's great. And then of course you could turn them off. And you can also go in and adjust the opacity of that particular layer too. So if you want to be somewhere in between, you can be somewhere in between. Yeah.
Okay, now what if I wanted that to be 9 instead of 6? Can we know?
Oh man, gee, how would you do that?
Not easily. That's how you do that.
Well,
you could go in and erase.
There you go.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. Perfect. I was thinking you'd have to use, thinking back from my Kai's Power Tool days.
Oh man.
You'd have to, look at this. I'm getting a call that says spam risk. Let me decline that. You'd have to go in and create a displacement map of the deformation of the sixes on that car, and create a channel from that, and then use that deformation map to remap a 9 into that spot, and it would fit perfectly after you clone the 6 out.
Yeah, so, you know what? You need somebody else who's better at Photoshop and stuff.
I wonder, but see, that's the thing. You know, as I move through Capture One and Affinity, I wonder if that level of geekery is possible. You know, those kinds of channel operations. You know, displacement maps, and those sorts of high end retouching workflows. I wonder if those are possible in Affinity. I just don't know right now. So
no, I don't know. Maybe with AI would be able to help us with that. I mean, that's the thing where AI can go, right? Because AI is going to go, oh, this is a car. Oh, look at the contours. Highlight the shadow. This element appears further away than this element. You know, there's a bend here where our brain sees all that, right? Like we know above the 6 on the door that is further away. There's a scoop in there. Yeah. If AI can recognize that, then I should be able to select that area at some point and say, okay, change this and make it, you know, let's just rotate it, just like free transform.
Yeah, exactly. Interesting. Cool.
Yeah,
I love the shot. I like the shot.
Get there.
We're getting there. We're just born too early, man. That's the problem. I'm gonna need a T-shirt that says "Born Too Early." Or right on time, considering where the planet is right now. So,
yeah. Who knows?
It's like my credits are gonna be rolling soon, right at the end of the film. Perfect timing, Dad and Mom.
Nice.
All right. Next shot here is from Lamb. This is Lamb shot. What is going on here? What is this clown doing?
I don't know. I don't see it. Did you stop the screen share?
Oh, no, I did not switch it over.
There we go.
That is me. There we go.
There we are.
There we go. I'm looking at it on TWiP Pro.
Right.
Yeah.
That clown is scary. That clown is scaring me.
There's nothing wrong with that clown. That is not a scary clown. A scary clown is Joaquin Phoenix in Joker or Pennywise. Those are scary clowns. This is a happy clown that just wants to, you know, disembowel you somehow.
Right. Nice. Holy crap. You know, it's a very cool shot. It's a very candid, very photojournalistic kind of shot. So I can see the reflections behind me, what would be in the glass, which I think is really cool. I like that. We're getting some clipping in the colors and stuff like that. So I think that's a little bit of an issue, but it's a really fun shot.
Yeah. It's busy. There's a lot of stuff going on in there.
Right.
So, and I'm not sure where to look, and I look at it and I have to, like, my brain is like, okay, let's go into puzzle solving mode because I need to figure out what is going on. And I instantly recognize the clown in the popcorn. So I know, okay, I kind of get that. Now, what's that clown doing? Okay, he's cranking that thing. What's in that thing? You know? So
right.
Or is he cranking that thing? Or is he just standing there? So yeah, it makes me think a lot of what is going on. I think this is a street photography sort of shot, right? Where Lamb might have been walking down the street and saw the shot and grabbed it, right?
Right. Yeah, I agree. And, you know, with the highlight that's coming in underneath the barrel and in the back is so bright that it does sort of distract you from the rest of the image. So if we could do some dodging and burning, bring up the face, bring down everything else, just the clown, that would help the story quite a bit. And these are things that we have to think about when we're taking the photo too. So, you know, we decide at that moment, like, I'm okay with all that brightness, or maybe we pick a different direction, or we know we'll fix it in post or tune it in post.
Yeah. Tune it in post. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that phrase. Yeah. Tune it in post versus fix it in post.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Every time I push a button, that's just the first half of what that image is going to look like. The second half is me tweaking it in post or tuning it later. I know I've got to bring up the shadows or the highlights, or I know I'm going to have to crop because my lens wasn't long enough, or, you know, I couldn't get a strobe in there, so I'm going to have to bring up the shadows. Like every single photo at a wedding, like, for example, I know every one of them I'm going to have to do. You have to finish them.
Yep. I love it. I love this stuff. All right. Next shot is that the last shot? No, there's another shot in here. What's going on?
I feel like it's the last shot.
No, because there's this guy. We did not talk about this one. And this,
yeah,
this one is from Amy Brooks.
I love the simplicity of that. I'm wondering, is this for the toy submission, or did she get it in late for the minimalism?
I'm gonna go with minimalism on this one.
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely not a toy.
Yeah.
Unless you want to say that stump that this bird is sitting on, is that a Huron or whatever? That this bird is sitting on is its toy. But yeah, it's a reach.
Yeah, it's a blue heron.
Is that what it is? A blue heron? Okay.
Yeah, it's a blue heron. Great minimalistic shot. I love that. I think that I would like a little more highlight on the bird, on the heron, around his plumage to kind of really make him pop, because some of the plumage around the head and behind the eyes, and they're white-ish, so they tend to pick up more light. So I feel like it's a little flat, but it's awesome. And I wouldn't add clouds to this one. I would leave it blank in the background.
Yeah, I like this. This is good. I'd love to see this this is one of those shots that you'd like to see as a big print, with a big, thick, fat border on it, and maybe two other shots of birds that are smaller, kind of a big with two small shots framed off to the side as a set. I think that'd be really cool.
Right. I also think this would look really good flipped horizontal. I feel like looking to the left doesn't really help as much as if it was looking to the right. I feel like if it was looking to the right, I could imagine like there's the ocean or a lake or something there that the bird is looking at and going to fly into. Yeah. So those are also things to play with when you're playing with your images, is flip them horizontally and see how they tell the story the best.
Yeah. Yep. Like it. Very cool.
Great shot.
Minimalist, though, not toys, but yeah.
Right.
Awesome shot.
Right. The bird is saying, the cake is a lie.
That bird reminds me of one of my instructors. Had that look all the time and that same posture.
Oh, my gosh.
All right. So then I think the last but not least, no, there's two more shots in here. There's this guy. This is from Craig Stampley.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's right. You brought that up in the beginning, and then you popped it out. Yeah.
Yep.
So this is really fun with the reflection. And I feel like the reflection is real, so it looks really nice.
Real, as in he shot this on like some black acrylic or something.
Yeah. And the reason that I say it that way is that in an image competition, a lot of times we see fake reflections, and sometimes you can tell that they're fake, like immediately, and other times you can't. This one, the license plate, it tells me that it's real, because you'd have to, unless he's really good at flipping and making reflections.
Craig Stampley. Yeah, he's got that attention to detail going on. So
yeah, so I'm going with real. I love the composition. I love the lift of the front of the car, so it kind of feels like it's taking off or it's going to leave. I like how the front is lit.
You're right. Sorry to interrupt you. You're right. As I look closer at that reflection, this is real, because the perspective of the reflection is different than the real car on top. If you look at the headlights are definitely in a different position on the reflection than they are in reality. In reality, it'd be a perfect reflection. Or if it was a composite and he just flipped it and stuck it underneath and changed the opacity, it'd be identical to the main one. It's not identical on the bottom.
Correct. Yeah. No, it's really nice, and that's nice. That little extra bit of detail makes a big difference. Even if you think you're good at flipping making reflections, sometimes they just don't work. So, yeah. And this one, I love the fact that the light's coming in from the front. I like that direction of light. I wish it was a little bit more off to the left behind the car, as opposed to just like right in flat in its grill.
Yeah. What kind of car is this, do you think?
Can
you tell by the badge?
Can I tell by the badge? It's a Lego. I have no idea. I don't know.
It looks like that's a Bentley logo on the front. I want to say Bentley.
Oh, it does look like a Bentley logo.
Craig Stampley, you'll have to let us know. Is this a Bentley logo?
I just saw that logo. It's either that or it's like Batman. It's a Batman logo.
Yeah, or a Mini Cooper, something like that. I don't know.
Yep.
Cool. I like that. So then that makes the last shot this one, which was a late
tennis
entry.
Rackets?
Yeah, from Laura. Let's bring this up. Look at that. This is toys, right? Definitely toys.
Yeah.
I love the play. I love the play of texture and shadows and high contrast and, you know, the grid of the rackets versus the grid of the shadows versus the grid of the fence. I love that.
So in an image like this, and I agree with everything you're saying, there's 3 images in here for me. And I see it more abstract, is crop it really high so we get just the handles and a little bit of the racket and the fence in the background.
Yeah.
Or the center, right? If you just go in the center and just barely get the handles and barely get the bottom shadow, that's another abstract. But my favorite abstract would be the bottom where it's mostly shadow and a little bit of the racket. And then it...
Okay. Wait, explain that. Explain that a little more.
So crop off the top third. And so the shadows of the rackets on the bottom become the main subject. And then the physical rackets themselves become sort of the secondary subject. So you have to really kind of think about the rest of the image that's being reflected in the shot.
Okay. I dig it. Cool shot, though.
It's very abstract, and I like that. Yeah, it really makes you think and look at it. I like the graphic element of that.
Yep. I can see this hanging in almost any place. It looks great. See, why does my brain go there? Would this look good hung up on the wall?
Because it's definitely a good standard to go by. I mean, if it's not something you're comfortable looking at, then you wouldn't want to hang it, right? Like I don't want to see like a surgery photo, although they're interesting. And then there's abstract-y kind of things that just aren't comfortable. You know, maybe they're too tense or they're too tight or they're not relaxing, but certain things, like you're like, I want to see that big.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's weird how things look better, like printed large. I don't know. It could be a picture of a hangnail, a macro shot of a hangnail, and you blow that thing up. Suddenly it's art, you know? I don't know. But as a 4x6, it's like, oh, what the hell is that? You know, but you blow that thing up wall size. It looks purposeful and intentional, because why would you spend that much money to frame that and hang it up if it wasn't important, right?
Oh my gosh. Now William is thinking about, like, how do I get that under the microscope and create that image for Frederick?
William, challenge thrown. The gauntlet is thrown down.
He wants a hangnail.
Electro. What is it? What's that camera that shoots? That can shoot like down to the hairs on a bug's eyelid.
I don't know. I'm just gonna let you.
I can't think of it. I know right now William is screaming out what it is. He's like, Stimpy, you idiot.
We're not doing very good, are we?
No. Hey, I can't help it. So, all right. Well, cool. We have our crop of images to quickly discuss, and then we got to break out of here. What do you have a favorite? We do have a favorite. I think I know what both of our favorite is.
And it's red and blue and green and black.
Yes, and if I can find it, I'll bring it up here. Yeah, so it's Stephen Scharf's shot.
Yes, yeah, I dig that car. It sort of fits the theme really, really well.
Yeah.
And the detail and the intricacy and even the technique that goes into photographing something like that, it takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of time, and knowing how meticulous Stephen is with his shots, I know he spends a lot of time on these, and the detail shows. So although I nitpicked about the lighting and the direction and stuff like that, I know that it's probably very intentional from Stephen's part. So I appreciate that in the image.
Yeah. All right. I got to give Stephen a gift here.
No, you got to get the top one. The one from Guardian. That one.
That one?
Not Guardians. That's, yeah.
Okay. There we go. There you go. That's my favorite. I love it. Good job, Stephen Scharf, man.
Oh, my gosh.
Very cool, sir. All right. Well, cool. Next week's topic, I think in honor of this week, or yesterday, actually, March 8th, being National, I believe it was National Women's Day.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'd like to commemorate that by making this week's topic Celebrating Women.
Ooh, good one. Good topic. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
So let's see what you can do. So the gauntlet again is thrown down for you folks to show us how we can celebrate women and all of their accomplishments over the years, and whether that is an illustration of the path of struggling from suffrage to today, or just where they are today, or if you want to, celebrate the incarceration of Harvey Weinstein, however you want to illustrate celebrating women. I want to see what you guys come up with. So there you go. Let's see what you got.
Yeah.
Gentlemen and ladies, start your engines and we'll see.
Yes. Yes.
Cool. All right. That'll be for critique number 105. And that's it. Any other comments before we break this one off?
That's it. No, just keep shooting. Get out there and create some amazing images.
All right. Cool.
Enjoy the weather. Full moon tonight, by the way.
Oh, that's right. Where's that shot you did of the full moon? That was very God, what was that Ansel Adams shot? Moon over
Hernandez. It's funny, when I was taking that shot, I thought that same thing, and I actually did a couple shots with more negative sky in there, just sort of to play with it. I haven't edited them all yet. But
okay. Because Ansel's shot was, what was it? It was Ansel, like I know him on first name basis, but Mr. Adams' shot was it had the moon kind of equidistant in the middle there. It's like, was it placed in the middle?
It was lower. It was on the lower half. Yeah, there was a lot of there was a lot of sky above it.
All right, let me bring it up real quick.
Yep.
So
that's one of those. That's one of those images, and it would be a really good conversation, because how would we view that image today? With our nitpicking hats on, or how would it do in a modern competition, as opposed to the iconic image that we've all come to recognize.
Yes. All right, here you go. Check this out. This is it. That's the shot we're talking about.
Yep. And you can't see all the negative space vertically because the black background. So the moon is nearly in the middle. But I remembered that shot when I was taking the moon last night. And that's not a full moon, which is interesting, because a couple days before. That's why you have sunlight on the foreground, is because the sun is still up.
Oh, interesting. You know what I was thinking of when I was looking at the shot, and I was watching an Ansel Adams documentary day before yesterday, and they were discussing this shot and how he made it, and I was thinking, just sort of overlaying today's sensibilities and capabilities into this shot. Mm-hmm. Would he have composited this shot together? Like, if he had in his mind's eye, he saw the crosses in the foreground and driving by, and he's like, oh, look at the light on those crosses, and he snapped those, would it have been, do you think he would have later put the moon in there? And,
no.
And if so, is that legal? No,
I don't think he would have, and I don't think he would have needed to. I mean, this image is actually really, really flat. And there's many iterations. This is the final iteration where he tried to bring up the highlights and the shadows in the foreground, which is exactly what we would do in post. We would open it up in post, and we would bring up the highlights and bring down the shadows and create contrast. So with the modern cameras, we have that latitude. He had the latitude in the film, but he had to do it between the film and the darkroom and the printing process. Yeah.
Cool shot. Yeah, watching that documentary really inspired me to want. I mean, it made me feel bad on the one hand, because living in the Bay Area, I live so close to Yosemite, right? So it's like 90 minutes away, Yep. Yet I've only been there, less than half a dozen times. So it's like right there. It's like literally a day trip. Get up in the morning, ride out there, and watch this documentary. For him, it was a pilgrimage to get up there. It was.
Oh yeah.
It was like Lewis and Clark trying to get up there to get the shot, and then hoofing it all the way up there with a big giant view camera, and
with glass plates,
and only a couple of exposures,
like 7 exposures.
Right. Yeah, it's just like, and then fast forward to today, we have all these cool tools, drones and 360 cameras and mirrorless cameras and everything, and Yet there is nothing as good as this shot that I've seen recently, right?
You know, I think that Ansel Adams is one of those individuals that you could go back and look at any of his teachings. He's got the book, The Camera, the Print, and the Negative, that although it's very much sort of old technique, it works for the modern photographer, and we need to look back to them. And nice thing that Adams did is he documented a lot of his learning to help. We could use that learning today. You know, the zone system and tonal control and blacks to whites, and those are things that sort of molded my techniques over the years.
Do you think people need those, though? You know, playing devil's advocate, because we have supercomputers in these cameras and they can do all this crazy stuff. Do we really need to get into the math of the zone system and all that? You know, I agree. I think we do. I'm answering my own question. But for the new photographers that are just like, you know, dude, I just want to take a picture of Yosemite. You know, I'm going to put it on auto. I'm going to go out there and snap the shot. It's raw. I'm going to bring that raw file into Capture One or whatever. I'm going to do some dodging and burning. It's all good. I'm going to go on to the next shot. Right?
I do. And here's sort of a weird analogy is that if you want to go out and be a world-class chef, you have to also understand how the human smell works, visual works, and how our taste buds work. Then you can build food that tastes right. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you're going to photograph something, you need to understand how light works and how our brain processes light, how emotionally we're drawn into an image. And then you can go create images and build on that knowledge. Sure, anybody can just go bake something and make it taste good, or anybody can go take photos and say, oh, these are good photos. But did you do it intentionally?
Right.
And that's the thing is the intention of your creation. And that's a lifelong pursuit, by the way. I don't think that's something that you just figure out how light works today and then you're done forever.
Yeah, you're practicing. Yeah. You're a practicing photographer. And
I'm thankful that Adams recorded a lot of that stuff and put all that stuff down and recorded his films and did his documentaries and wrote his books, because there's a lot of photographers that have done that. But yeah.
Well, thank you, Ansel Adams. Well, we'll leave it on that note. And on that same topic, I'll say, consider the light as you create your celebrating women or celebration of women photograph for next week.
Yes, absolutely.
And be intentional. Be intentional.
Be intentional.
Yes, be intentional, whether it be street photography, product type photography, portraiture, fashion. Tim Ingle, I know what you're going to do, Tim Ingle. So let's see what you got. Cool, man. Well, thanks again for your time today.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I guess we're going to talk again this week, but we'll talk in this forum a week from today.
Yes, we will.
All right, man. Take care.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Peace. This is TWiP.